Hello, my name is Jill Zalmanovitz and I'm the CEO of Girl Guides of Canada. I want to welcome everyone joining us from coast to coast to coast for the Great Canadian Camp-In. We are so excited to have you here with us. Our campfire is going to be special because of all of you, our Girl Guide members, friends, and members of the David Suzuki Foundation, and everyone who loves a good campfire song and story. Girl Guides has been around for more than 100 years, and camping and outdoor adventures have always been a big part of the guiding tradition. In fact, it's one of my favorite parts of Girl Guides, mostly because I love the songs and I love roasted marshmallows. We're so happy to be partnering with the David Suzuki Foundation tonight, which also shares Girl Guides' love of nature. We encourage you to explore nearby nature and practice some of your awesome camping skills this weekend. The theme of tonight's campfire is community. Our communities include people, but they also include the land and water that sustain us. Indigenous people are the traditional guardians of this land, where we gather together this evening, and we would like to begin our campfire by acknowledging that we are gathering on the traditional territories and both treaties and unceded lands of all First Nations, Inuit, and Métis. Doing a land acknowledgement calls on all of us, including our organization, to take action toward reconciliation. 5 years ago, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission released its 94 calls to action. Take the time this weekend as a family to explore what your role is in reconciliation. In Toronto, where I am today, we are on Treaty 13, part of the Upper Canada Treaties and the Dish with One Spoon, and the traditional territory of the Wendat, the Anishinaabe, and the Haudenosaunee, Métis, and the Mississaugas of the New Credit First Nation. If you are joining us from across Canada, we ask that you take a moment to personally acknowledge the treaties and nations who have taken care of the land you are on, and to pay respect to all Indigenous peoples. Being part of a community means helping one another and taking care of each other. At Girl Guides of Canada, we stand against racism. Recent incidents of anti-Black racism are a reminder that we need to stand together as a community and act in ways that honor and protect people. We need community now more than ever, and at Girl Guides, we hope that the Great Canadian Camp-In will bring us closer together with our Girl Guide communities, our friends, and our families. Thank you once again to the David Suzuki Foundation for partnering with us in this great evening, and let's get started.
Thanks for the welcome, Jill. We're so glad to all be here together tonight. For some, this is the first time at the campfire, and it's a big one. It's the Great Canadian Camp-In. And for others, this is the finale of the Girl Guides Campfire series. We are so grateful for these times together during these challenging days and months. Let's come together as a community tonight and kick off the summer together. Oh, but wait, it's hard to get started on an empty stomach. Min, a Pathfinder, has her favorite camp recipe ready to share. So while I set up the campsite, let's hear from Min.
Camp, filled to the brim with fun. Snacks, friends, s'mores, tacos in a bag. What can I say? Camp food is the best, but there's ways that we can elevate it. Adding a bit of caramel with your s'mores, awesome. Adding your favorite candy bar, like Kit Kats or Twix, makes it even better. Tacos in a bag with guacamole or that really spicy salsa in the back of your fridge makes it even better. Here are a couple of ways that you, dear viewer, can elevate your camp snacks. Rice Krispie Square S'mores. A great way to elevate it. Simple, but ooey gooey and delicious. The added texture of the Rice Krispies and the marshmallow brings it onto a new level. What can I say? It's delicious. Replacing the graham crackers with the Rice Krispie gives you another texture and more marshmallow. more sweet, and more delicious. It gives you a new texture in your mouth that makes the taste weirdly delicious. And the ooey gooiness of the fake marshmallows and the Rice Krispie squares gives you even more sweetness. It's delicious, what can I say? Another way to turn up the game is by, instead of using your graham crackers, you're going to use Oreo cookies. Insane, I know. Just twist and pull the pieces of cookie apart and put your marshmallow and chocolate in there, and you'll have an ooey gooey creamy mess. It's going to be delicious, but very messy. Be warned, leaders, you're going to have a long time washing hands after this. Now, for my personal favorite, and probably the best thing you can do, add in a Thin Mint Girl Guide cookie in there. Instead of just having your standard chocolate, add in a Thin Mint right between your marshmallow and your graham cracker to add in that minty taste and that beautiful chocolate. It's going to make an entirely new blend that's going to taste delicious. What can I say? Girl Guides know best. Camp food number 2. The camp food that you are probably going to eat the last on your wonderful camp trip is probably tacos on a bag. Very easy to clean up, very easy for on the go. Now, it's easy to elevate this food. Just add in a bunch of salsa, guacamole, and some different types of chips, and you're on your way. It's probably the easiest to elevate, and one of the best. Picky eaters will know what they want, and non-picky eaters will get everything. From personal experience, I know. A way to elevate this snack is by trying to add some different meats. So instead of just ground beef, try and mix it up with chicken, or maybe pork, or just any extra meat that you have from the weekend. Last but not least, my favorite camp snack, chocolate brownies, but on a campfire. Very fancy, but very messy. All you gotta do is take all the flesh out of the orange, keep the orange peel, put the brownie mix inside, and toss it on the fire. And just wait. It's very delicious, but very easy to upgrade. It's not that hard. Adding some chocolate chips inside for some ooey gooey surprises randomly in your bites will make it very delicious. However, if you add caramel inside, even better.
Thanks, Min. That was great. And I've been looking at pictures of your blanket forts and tents and setups at home. They're totally inspiring. Thanks for sharing all of those, and you can share more in the chat if you want to. Here's what I got set up at home right now. I've got some blankets and some ropes. I've got some layers. Oh, hello. I've got some layers to my blanket fort, and I also added a flashlight and a really good book. And I thought a walkie-talkie maybe. I don't know. Could we order a pizza on this for us? If you've got other ideas of what we could put in the blanket fort, put them in the chat. And I think I know who else might be able to help us. Let's pack this up and hike over to Quebec and ask Megan if she'll share her ideas.
Hi everyone, we're so glad to see you at the Great Canadian Camping. I'm Megan, the Co-Provincial Commissioner of Quebec, and I'm here to give you some tips on packing for an overnight adventure. Bonjour tout le monde et surtout bienvenue aux filles qui vont participer au Grand Campement canadien. Mon nom est Megan et je suis votre co-commissaire provinciale des Guides du Québec. Je suis ici pour vous donner quelques conseils et une démonstration pour vous aider à préparer vos bagages pour cette belle expérience de camping que vous allez vivre cette fin de semaine. Voici les vêtements qu'on va amener avec nous en camping pour être confortable. When I'm packing, these are some of the clothes I pack to stay comfortable. So I'll pack either a t-shirt or a long sleeve. I also bring with me a pair of comfortable pants, a sweater in case it gets chilly, and then I have some comfy PJs and socks for when I sleep. You'll notice that I didn't pack anything that was made of denim like jeans. Denim soaks up water very easily. You want to make sure your clothes are lightweight and breathable so they will dry quickly. You can do an experiment in your home with different pieces of clothing and a bucket of water. Try soaking a little part of the clothes and see how much water soaks in. You can also time how long it takes for the different fabrics to dry. This will give you an idea about which of your clothes might be the best to pack. J'espère que vous avez remarqué, je n'ai pas choisi de vêtements en denim. Pas de jeans. C'est mieux d'éviter le denim parce qu'il absorbe l'eau très facilement. On suggère d'apporter des vêtements légers, faits du tissu respirant pour qu'ils sèchent rapidement. Si vous voulez tester ce phénomène chez vous, il vous faudrait utiliser différents types de vêtements ou matériel et un seau d'eau. Trempez dans l'eau une partie de chaque vêtement et observez la quantité d'eau qui est absorbée. Vous pouvez aussi calculer le temps requis pour que les différents tissus sèchent. Ce petit test vous donnera une bonne idée du type de vêtements que vous devriez apporter. Because this is an overnight adventure, you want to be sure that you have things you need to be comfortable when you're sleeping. If you're sleeping on the ground in your tent, you'll want to make sure that you have a tarp or a sleeping pad. If you're sleeping in a bed, make sure you bring with you the things you'd need to make a bed. Comme il s'agit d'une activité d'aventure qui comprend une soirée de camping, vous devez apporter tout le matériel nécessaire pour dormir confortablement. Si vous couchez sur le sol dans une tente, il vous faut une toile et une matelas de sol. Voici d'autres articles que j'apporte en camping pour être confortable. Some other things I pack to help me stay comfortable are a flashlight, une lampe de poche, stuff to stay clean, like a face cloth, some soap, toothpaste and toothbrush. Donc des produits de soins personnels comme une débarbouillette, un savon, un brosse à dents et la pâte à dents. I also bring a ditty bag, or also called mess kit. It's a mesh bag with cutlery, plates, bowls, and cups you need to eat. The mesh bag is an easy way to dry your dishes after you wash them. Un ensemble de vaisselle dans un sac filet avec ustensiles, assiettes, bol et tasses. Le sac filet est très pratique parce que la vaisselle peut continuer à sécher après avoir été lavée. I also bring with me a water bottle, une bouteille d'eau, and have a hat, un chapeau, and I also have some sunscreen and some bug spray. Donc la crème solaire et un produit de chasse moustique. You might not need those things for your camping. Si vous ne campez pas à l'extérieur, vous n'en aurez probablement pas besoin. Sometimes it's hard to spend time away from home. You can bring a soft friend, like a blanket or stuffed animal, to make you feel connected to home. Il se peut que certaines filles trouvent ça difficile d'être loin de la maison. Vous pouvez apporter une petite couverture ou un toutou pour vous sentir connecté à votre famille. Have a great time at your camping. You can share your own packing tips in the comments. Good night, everyone. Nous espérons que vous allez vous amuser et que cette expérience de camping sera mémorable. Si vous avez d'autres conseils à nous donner sur la façon dont vous préparez vos bagages, inscrivez-les dans la section réservée aux commentaires. Merci et je vous souhaite une bonne soirée de camping.
Thanks, Megan. That was so helpful. Now I have everything I need for my blanket fort when I get back home. But since we're out, why don't we head over to Calgary? I heard there's some brownies who have an activity to share. Hey, look, it's a black-capped chickadee. I've been doing a citizen science project where you count birds in your backyard. Citizen science I heard about through the David Suzuki Foundation, and it's a really great way to give back to your community. I could tell you about it, but what about if we reach out to our resident scientist and guiding ambassador, Dr. Krista Coyle? Let's see if she's around. Hey, Krista, do you have a sec?
Of course I do, Suzanne.
Awesome. Okay, so you're a scientist. Can you help me understand, how do citizen science projects help scientists?
For sure, that's a really good question. So just because it's called citizen science, it doesn't mean that only citizens can participate, and all community members are actually welcome to do this. So when you do these projects, community members are able to go out into their own backyards and their communities and share their observations of what they see with the science community. So maybe you're counting birds in your backyard or looking at bees in your community, but instead of just one scientist collecting the data, like me, maybe even in your backyard, we have 100 scientists collecting all of that data. So you get to learn something awesome about something you're interested in, and you get to help make a difference in your own community.
Oh, that's awesome. That's amazing. Hey, listen, will you just stay on the phone with me a little bit longer? I'm on a hike to Calgary and I'm looking for birds while I'm walking. And if you see any while I'm hiking, put them in the chat. Will you just like tell me a story or something? Maybe something from camping?
Oh, I have the best story for you.
Yes.
All right. So when I was a guide, we went camping in the winter, and we took some snowshoes with us so we could enjoy the outdoors and enjoy the weather and experience winter. So we went out snowshoeing, and one of my leaders, or maybe one of my junior leaders, fell in a prickle bush.
Oh, no.
She was fine, but naturally it was pretty funny for us kids. And so we rewrote the lyrics to Black Socks so we could always remember it.
Oh, that's classic. Will you sing it now?
I still remember all of the words, but I'm not going to share them with you right now.
Totally. Future campfire?
Maybe. We'll see about that.
That's classic. That's amazing. Thank you. Thanks for telling me a great story. And I'm almost here now, and I've got another friend with a great story. I'm going to check in with her now, okay?
Yep. See you later.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye.
I'm Kira, and I am a guide. I am from Sarnia, Ontario. My favorite camping memory would be when I was in Brownies, we camped overnight at the Toronto Zoo. And at the Toronto Zoo, we got to see lots of animals, and we did a scavenger hunt at night all around the zoo. For the camping, this is where I set up. I have my fire outside, and inside of my fort is where I'm going to be sleeping. The song I have chosen is called Make New Friends. I decided to choose this song because it was one of the first guiding songs that I had ever written. I hope you enjoyed this song and are making lots of new friends and guiding. Bye!
Thanks, Kira. That was great. And I'm almost in Calgary now. Look, a chickadee. I can add it to my tally. Oh, that was great. Let's sing a song to get us the rest of the way.
name is Star Owl, and these are our brownies from Calgary, Alberta.
Hi, my name is Abby.
Hi, my name is Vivian.
Hi, my name is Elena.
Hi, my name's Kira.
Hi, my name's Addison.
Hi, my name is Kay.
And we are going to make bird feeders using Cheerios. So everyone got their Cheerios, pipe cleaner, and a piece of string or ribbon. All right, and you can make any shape you'd like. So we'll take some Cheerios and we'll put them on the pipe cleaner. And you can put as many or as little Cheerios as you would like. Right? And eventually we'll put these outside and we'll hang them. You can hang them from a tree or a fence. And then the birds around you can nibble off of them. It's important to probably just use regular Cheerios. I know there's a whole bunch of different types of Cheerios. There's chocolate Cheerios and honey nut Cheerios, but we want to be as natural as possible for the birds. Okay, and then when you think you have enough Cheerios on your pipe cleaner, you can bend it into any kind of shape you would like. So I'm going to do circle. And then you can just trim off the excess pipe cleaner, so then that way it's not showing. And you can see I attached two together for my bird feeder. All right, can everyone show their product that they have done so far? Perfect. Nice. Great work. Okay, to celebrate birds and the environment, we're gonna sing the penguin song. Take it away, Vivian.
Have you ever seen a penguin come to tea? Take a look at me, a penguin you will see. Penguins, attention, penguins begin. Right there. Have you ever seen a penguin come to tea? Take a look at me, a penguin you will see. Penguins, attention, penguins begin. Right flipper, left flipper. Have you ever seen a penguin come to tea? Take a look at me, a penguin you will see. Penguins, attention, penguins begin. Right flipper, left leg. Right leg. Have you ever seen a penguin come to tea? Take a look at me, a penguin you will see. Penguins, attention, penguins begin. Right flipper, right leg, left leg. Have you ever seen a penguin come to tea? Take a look at me, a penguin you will see. Penguins, attention, penguins begin. Right flipper, right leg, left leg. Have you ever seen a penguin come to tea? Take a look at me, a penguin you will see. Penguins, attention, penguins begin. Head nod. Have you ever seen a penguin come to tea? Take a look at me, a penguin you will see. Penguins, attention, penguins dismissed.
Aw, right on, brownies. So cool. We don't usually see penguins in this neck of the woods, and it won't help me with my chickadee tally, but so cool. All the chickadees that I've been seeing tonight, they are like you. They need more than cereal to keep them healthy and happy. And if you have photos of bird feeders in your area or ones that you've made, you can share them in the comments in the chat tonight, or you can send them to programs@girlguides.ca. We love to see what you've made. And it's starting to get dark. I think I might even see some stars. Let's learn a bit about stargazing with Guider Natalie, and I'll go get the campfire started.
Hi, I'm Guider Natalie, and I am so thrilled to be with you today at the Great Canadian Camp-In. This is so exciting. One of my favorite things to do at camp, because I have been going to guide camp for a very long time, and I bet if you've ever gone to guide camp or brownie camp, Sparks, Pathfinders, Rangers, I bet you've done this too. And that's when it's really quiet, it's late at night, the stars come out, and you can just lie on your back and look up at the stars. I love doing that. I love looking at the constellations. I think they're fascinating. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about tonight. Now, before you do that, before you actually go into your backyard and look up and go, wow, I wonder what they all are, a little bit of education, I mean just a little wee bit of education will really help. What do I mean by education? Well, first of all, what's the difference between a star and a constellation? Well, stars are in constellations. A constellation is like a star pattern that makes up a story in the sky. It's kind of like connect the dots, but you have to have a really good imagination. And so how do you know what those constellations are? Well, you can get books. These are some of the books that I use when I'm doing stargazing with my guides. Or I've got a glow-in-the-dark deck of stars with different cards that describe what the constellations are. And those are always fun and cool so that you can figure it out. But the other thing you can use is, it's a sky guide. And this is perfect, in my opinion, because it really helps you to find what constellation you're looking at or what constellations are directly in front of your line of view. And of course, the other thing you can find is there are tons of apps on phones that you just point at the night sky and it tells you what constellations you're looking at. Okay, so that's kind of that. A constellation is a star pattern. There's lots of stars in a constellation. But where did these constellations come from? Okay, so constellations are stories told in the stars. Some of these stories you might be familiar with, like Pegasus or Hercules. Those are stories from the Greek and Roman myths, and those are commonly what we use to identify constellations with. But stars, you can see the exact same constellations all over the world. And the constellation that I might call Orion in India is known as a completely different name, and it has a completely different story. It's not a soldier with a sword on his belt. It's a deer with an arrow shot through it. I think that's so interesting. So what are some easy constellations for you to find? Well, in Canada, the easiest constellation would be the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper. They are just above the horizon at this time of the year, between like 10 o'clock at night and 1 o'clock in the morning. They're in the north. You look north and they're just above the horizon. I don't have, unfortunately, really great cameras to show you and to picture all the different constellations. So I'd like you to do a little bit of research, a little bit of education, and find them first in a book or on the computer or however you want to do it, and then go out into your backyard, onto your balcony, maybe into a park, and see what you can find. So how do you stargaze? First things first, turn off all the lights. Turn off all your outside lights, turn off all your inside lights. If you have a flashlight, if you could put a piece of red paper over it, because that'll help to protect your night vision, that's even better. Secondly, lie down. Get yourself nice and comfortable, probably on a foamy or some type of cushion, or maybe on a chaise longue or something like that. Then close your eyes and count to 60. And by the time you reopen your eyes will be adjusted. Look up and see the stars. The only thing you really need to have are a good pair of eyes, maybe a star guide, and preferably a compass. And you've got a compass automatically in your cell phone, attached to your GPS system in your cell phone. So you don't have to buy that. That already comes in your cell phone if you have a cell phone. So those three things and a great imagination, and you can find some stars. So I would recommend the Big Dipper, the Little Dipper, Orion, which is my favorite. And if you can find Cassiopeia, which is another really easy one to find, I think that would be enough to find those constellations. Why don't you see what you can see tonight when it gets dark in a little bit? Qu'est-ce que c'est une constellation? Une constellation, c'est une histoire des étoiles. Et peut-être des étoiles comme Mercure, comme Pegasus. C'est une histoire pas comme il était une fois, mais une histoire, une raconte d'histoire. So have fun tonight, stargazing, and have fun with the rest of the campfire. I'm Guider Natalie. See you soon.
Okay, we got the campfire going. And between hiking across Canada, playing like a penguin, and stargazing, I'm feeling pretty tired. I think it's time for a bedtime story. Dr. Suzuki, how about one of yours?
The Salmon Forest by David Suzuki and Sarah Ellis, illustrated by Sheena Lott. It's a bright autumn day. Kate and her dad go to the river. Today we're going to find a story, says Dad. It's called The Salmon Forest. Kate skips along the trail and spots a chipmunk. What's it about? Mysteries, circles, and millions of babies, says Dad. As they get close to the river, Kate smells something. Yuck! Dead salmon lie in the shallows. Is that the end of the story already, says Kate. I don't want to go home yet. In this story, the beginning and the end are the same, says Dad. That's one of the circles. Kate and Dad hike farther up the river. What happened to those fish? They came back from the ocean and swam way upstream to lay their eggs. Then they died and drifted downstream. Kate peers into the river and sees a crowd of fish pushing and jostling against each other. Hey, look, that big red one jumped right out of the water. That big guy is a male sockeye salmon, says Dad. Okay, I get it, says Kate. The story is called The Salmon Forest because we're in the forest and there are the salmon. Yes, but there's more to it than that, says Dad. It's also about the millions of babies and how the salmon and the forest need each other. These fish are on their way to a part of the river where they were born, where there's a gravelly bottom and smooth flowing water. That's where they can lay their eggs. I know about that, says Kate. It's called a spawning area. Dad stops. Where did you find that out? Video at school. We saw how the female makes a nest in the gravel with her tail and lays her eggs in it. But Dad, you said the salmon need the forest. Why? You'll see. Let's go closer to the river, says Dad. Kate and Dad crouch by the river. Feel that water? Says Dad. Brr, it's cold. Yes, says Dad, that's good for the salmon eggs. They need cool water. Know what keeps it cool? Kate looks up into the trees. Shade? That's it. The forest is like a hat for the river, blocking the sun and keeping the river cool. That's one reason salmon need the forest. What's another? The roots of the trees hold the soil in place so it doesn't wash into the water and make it dirty. The eggs need clean water, and so do the baby salmon after they hatch. What happens next, says Kate. After 1 or 2 summers, the salmon swim downstream. Most kinds of salmon go right to the ocean, but the sockeye salmon find a lake and stay there for a year. Then they swim out to the sea. That's a long journey. Why do they go all the way out there? Good question, says Dad. When the eggs hatch, there are millions of baby fish in the stream, but not enough food in the rivers and lakes to feed them. In the ocean, there's lots of food, like needlefish and herring and ulican. The salmon spend several years in the ocean where they eat lots of fish. And seals and whales and birds try to eat the salmon. Kate and Dad climb a boulder. How do the salmon know when to come back to the river? That's one of the mysteries, says Dad. Somehow they know when it's time to make the long trip. They come back to lay their eggs. How do they find their way? Mystery number 2. They swim hundreds of kilometers out in the ocean, but they come right back to the river where they were born. Scientists think that every river has its own smell, which the fish recognize. Look, says Kate, there's another red fish. I thought salmon were silver. The sockeye turn red as they move up the river, says Dad. Kate looks up into the trees in their fall colors. Then they match the leaves, she says. Dad laughs. Yes, they do. Kate notices more dead salmon in the water. They make me feel sad, she says. Here's something to think about, says Dad. All the fish want to do is reach their stream and spawn. They stop eating when they leave the ocean. They use all their energy to fight upstream, and it can be hundreds of kilometers, and they still have a long way to go from here. After they get to the gravel beds, they clean out a nest, lay their eggs, and then die. It's their natural life cycle, and the end of the story becomes the beginning. Because the eggs become baby salmon, says Kate. Yes, says her dad. And then an amazing thing happens. After the fish dies, its body is eaten by tiny bacteria and fungi, which are then eaten by insects, copepods, and other small invertebrates. When the baby salmon hatch, they eat those bacteria and insects which have been fed by their parents' bodies. So by dying, the parents have helped feed their babies. Bugs eat salmon, salmon eat bugs, another circle, says Kate. Gulls squawk overhead, and big black ravens hop along the riverbank. Birds are part of this story too, says Dad. Flies lay eggs on the dead salmon, and the eggs hatch as maggots. The maggots eat the salmon flesh. Then when the maggots grow into adult flies, songbirds from South America on their way to the Arctic come by and eat them. So by feeding the maggots, the salmon also feed the birds. Kate dances along the trail, playing hopscotch around fat green slugs. She makes up a song. Bugs eat salmon, birds eat bugs. I eat macaroni, but I don't eat slugs. Suddenly, Kate sees a bear walk onto a rock where the river narrows. Is it dangerous? She whispers. No, we're a long way from it. Besides, it's only interested in eating the salmon, its favorite food. The bear plunges its head into the water and comes up with a fish which struggles to escape. Kate and Dad watch the bear carry the salmon away. Bears like to eat alone, says Dad. That bear will take its fish into the forest and eat the yummiest parts, like the brain and belly and eggs. Then it will probably leave the rest of the fish and come back to catch more. As the fish decays, the nutrients from its body go into the soil. In that way, the salmon fertilizes the forest. There's some bear poop, says Kate. Good spotting, says Dad. More fertilizer for the forest. So that's why the forest needs the salmon. Right. All the poop from the bears, eagles, otters, ravens, coyotes, and other animals that eat salmon helps the forest grow. And the forest grows and shades the salmon spawning grounds, says Kate. And the salmon feed the animals, says Dad. Kate laughs, and the animals feed the forest. That's another circle. And who's on all the circles? Salmon, says Kate. She spins around. Salmon river, salmon eagle, salmon poop, salmon trees, salmon forest. Farther on, Kate and Dad see a man and a boy standing near a big boulder by the river. The man is holding a long pole with a hook on one end. He puts that end into the water and suddenly jerks it to snag a salmon. The boy grabs the struggling fish and kills it by hitting it on the head with a club. What do you know, says Dad, there's Simon with Brett. Hi, Brett, Kate yells. The boy grins and waves them over. How's the fishing, says Dad. Great, says Brett. We just started and have already caught 3 nice ones. Mom and Patricia are over there cleaning them. He points to a table under a tarp not far away. You mean they're giving them a bath? Says Kate with a giggle. No, silly, says Brett. Go and have a look. Edna, says Dad. Good to see you again. And how are you, Patricia? Kate watches Edna and Patricia take the guts out of the salmon and remove the head and backbone from the fish. They cut out the ribs, then make a series of deep slices in the meat. Edna's hands are flying. You sure are fast, says Kate. I learned by watching my granny when I was a girl, says Edna. What do you do with the fish when they're clean, says Kate. Some of them will be prepared for smoking. Others will be sliced so they can dry out in the wind, and others will be frozen or bottled. And of course, we'll cook some of them fresh, says Edna. We're cooking some right now, says Brett. My favorite way, baked with soy sauce, sugar, and garlic. Yesterday, fried was your favorite way, says Patricia. Whatever way we cook it is Brett's favorite way, laughs Edna. He's a real salmon boy, which makes sense because we call ourselves fish people. We couldn't survive without salmon. Just like salmon babies and animals and trees, says Kate. Seems like everybody needs salmon. Edna nods. Our people say in nature, everything is connected. Hey, we forgot about Dad, says Patricia. Brett, tell him to come and take a break. Why don't you stay and have tea and bake salmon with us, Edna says to Kate and Dad. Can we, says Kate. Sure, says Dad, that would be great. Brett and Simon return with more fish. Patricia fills cups with tea and lots of milk and sugar, and Edna gives everyone a piece of fish. That's so good, says Kate. Daddy, when we eat salmon, we're like the bears and bugs and trees, right? It's like we're salmon humans. Dad grins. You've got it, Kate. We're all part of the same story.
What a great story. We really are all connected, just like the salmon in the forest. To celebrate storytelling like the one we just heard, we have a special storytelling-inspired campfire coming up for leaders. That's you adults and older girls at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. All right, it's getting dark. Time to tuck into our cozy tents and forts. Thank you to the David Suzuki Foundation. Thank you to each of you for joining. Good night, everyone, and keep on guiding.